Welcome to Sure is Good. Today we're going to do something a little different. Instead of cooking, I'm going to show you how to make some of my favorite smoothies. You can use these smoothies to detox. You can have them for breakfast. They can literally just be a full meal replacement. So if you're someone who may be on a diet or you just want to kind of switch it up and provide your body with more fiber and more hydration, then these smoothies are perfect. They're delicious. You're gonna love them. So let's get into just a few of my favorite smoothies. So I always have my smoothies with coconut water. And I would suggest getting a coconut water that is sugar free. That way you get more of an authentic taste. The sugar from the coconut water will just be natural. So this is no sugar added to the coconut water that I buy. You can really use any blender. If you want to use these recipes to make juice, just make sure you have a good juicer and you can literally just make a juice or a smoothie. It's up to you. I'm making smoothies today, so I'm using my blender. And just in case anybody's wondering, this video is not sponsored, but my blender is a ninja. So I usually buy frozen bags of fruit, or you can use fresh fruit. It's up to you, depending on where you live. Right now, it's winter where I live, and fresh fruit is not at its best. So I do very well buying the frozen bags of fruit and just letting them thaw out overnight so that in the morning, they produce like a nice juice and they're completely thawed out, just like any fresh fruit. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. This is completely thawed out. I separated it from the bigger bag that you see that the fruit is in into these little Ziploc bags. This is cherries, dark cherries, and this is mangoes. Sorry. This is dark cherries, and these are peaches. So I just put them in these Ziploc bags, and then I put them on my counter or in the refrigerator overnight and let them thaw out. So in the morning, they produce like a nice juice. You can see the juice a little bit right there. And all of that is going in the blender. It makes everything so much easier. And then when you add the coconut water, you can really have the consistency that you want. You want to put less coconut water if you want it to be a thicker consistency. And you're going to put more coconut water if you want it to be a more thin, juicy consistency. I usually like my smoothie somewhere in the middle, but a little bit more on the thicker side. So I also have mangoes, and this is a mixture of blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries. Oh, and blueberries as well. So we got those 4 berries in here. Put these to the side. Last but not least, I have bananas. Normally, I would have this bag full of bananas and just use little by little to my liking for whatever smoothie I'm doing. I'm also going to incorporate some vegetables, and these vegetables are completely frozen. Again, you can either use fresh vegetables or frozen vegetables. If your vegetables are already frozen, don't let them thaw out like I did with the fruit, because that's just gonna be really messy and it's gonna be hard to get it out the bag. You could just leave them frozen. So I have kale, which you just saw there. We're gonna be using that. Spinach and carrots. So the first recipe we're gonna be doing is mangoes, spinach, avocado, and bananas. So that's for the first one. Move the other stuff out of the way. So the first thing I'm gonna put in that blender are my bananas. This is about 3 bananas in here. Next, I'm gonna put a little bit of mango. spinach and then the avocado. Put as much spinach as you would like, because this is what I mean by these smoothies can be a meal replacement. When you start incorporating vegetables, then you really get more of a spectrum of you really get a fuller spectrum of nutrients. So once you start incorporating vegetables with your smoothies, you will feel extremely energized and good. I put about half a cup of spinach in there. Next is the avocado. What I love about this recipe is that even though the avocado has more of a neutral flavor, it's not very sweet and it's not salty, same as the spinach, the mango and the banana really balance it out to give it a really nice sweet taste. And then the avocado makes it like creamier and richer. I love that. While the spinach gives it more of like a fresh flavor. Okay, so this is optional, you don't have to. I just really love cinnamon with all of my smoothies. So every single one of these smoothies, you'll see me putting cinnamon in, but you really don't have to. You can even add nutmeg to some of these smoothies, just a little bit if you like nutmeg. Now that I've added my cinnamon, I'm gonna put coconut water. Like I said, the coconut water, depending on how you want it, I would say start off a little bit at a time, depending on if you want it thicker or more watery. Meaning, like if it's more watery, then it'll just be more like a juice. But if you want it to be like a nice thick, creamy smoothie, then you will have less water. So take your time on pouring it so you don't mess up your measurements. Right now I have the water up to here. So it's like a little bit below the 16th, maybe slightly above this line right here. And we're gonna blend. Okay, so you can see the texture right now. It's a little bit too thick, so I'm gonna put a little bit more water. It is done, and as you can see, it came out more like a green smoothie. Let's pour it in here. So for these recipes, you can always modify how you want to. If you really like your smoothies to be a lot sweet, to be very sweet, then you can put agave or maple syrup in it. Me, the ingredients I use are already sweet enough because of the mango and the banana, so I never really put any sweetener. For these thick smoothies, I like to use a straw that's pretty wide, so let's give it a try. Yeah, this is perfect. All right, let's move on to the next one. So the next smoothie that we're gonna make is super simple. It's going to be the mixed berries with the 4 berries in it and the cherries. So the mixed berries can sometimes not be as sweet, But when you add these dark cherries are extremely sweet. Put them together, it is just like candy. I cleaned out my blender and we're gonna do this right now. I only put in half of the bag of these mixed berries. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the cherries. Put only half the bag in. Alright, so I'm gonna put my cinnamon in. A little bit of water, just a little bit of coconut water, because pretty much all the juice, or at least most of the juice, in the bag with the berries poured right into the blender. The lid on, and go. A little bit more watery than I want, but it's okay. It's still gonna taste delicious. This is literally like berry juice. The whole thing. So good. The great thing about berries is that they're alkaline, so you can really put just about anything with it. Vegetables, other fruits. Some things you don't want to mix because it's not going to sit well in your stomach. But you can pretty much mix anything with berries and it won't cause you any issues. I got these straws. Because this is more watery, I can use like a skinnier straw. So let's go. Yeah, that's really sweet. I will definitely drink all of this, but we need to move on and get to the next smoothies. So I'm gonna put this down so that I can show you the other smoothies. Tropical blend. What I love about this tropical blend is that you get, even though it's blended up, you still get those little chunks of coconut. It's just smaller chunks, obviously because being blended, but I love that texture of like drinking the smoothie and just having little like chewy chunks of coconut. It's really cool. Next, the berries. Cinnamon. Coconut water. So this particular smoothie is excellent if you're trying to detox. This is excellent for any type of detox, whether you are doing just trying to clean out your colon, or if you're doing like a parasite cleanse or anything. Alright, let's give this a taste. That beautiful rich color. this smoothie, you can add so much to. You can add cherries, vegetables, and it'll taste so good. Again, for this smoothie, because of the chunks of coconut, I want to use a straw that has a wider opening. This is a smoothie that you will be chewing. Only because of the coconut chunks. This is really good. Normally, with this one, I would also add mango, and it makes it even sweeter. It's so good. Alright, this is pretty good. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, now we're on to the last smoothie for this video, and we're gonna use pineapple. These are still pretty frozen. You can use completely thawed out pineapple for this, which I do recommend because it'll be sweeter that way. Frozen pineapples, you don't really get the fullness of their sweetness because it's frozen, so it'll mostly taste like ice water, but you'll still taste the pineapple flavor. We're gonna use carrots, kale, and peaches. I'm gonna start with the pineapple. Alright. For this recipe, you definitely want to put a lot more of the peaches and pineapple so that it's at its sweetest. It's not too much pineapple because pineapple is very acidic. So use a lot of peach. And for me personally, I love the flavor of peach in smoothies. So I'm using a lot of peach just because I love that flavor. I want that flavor to be more prominent. So we have peaches and pineapple in there right now. I'm going to let's move that to the side. I'm going to do the carrots. Just a few carrots, not much. This one is also a really good meal replacement. You just make as much as you want to either make yourself full or just make enough to be like a little snack, and you'll get a lot of nutrients from it. Now for our kale. You could really use like half a cup of kale or less, or more if you want more. Depends on, again, how much cinnamon. If you want to take this recipe to the next level, you can always add mangoes. But I'm going to stick with this for now. Coconut water. Do that much coconut water for now. How much is that? Okay, half a cup of water is not enough for me. I do not want it this thick. So, more coconut water. Okay, let's give it a try. Alright, this one is decent, but I'm definitely gonna add the mango to it. It's not sweet enough for me. What I do, I just take off the lid, pour it right back in. Take my fruit, put this down. Pour the fruit that I want in there. Put all of it because I want this to be very sweet. Put my lid back on. Just a little bit more water. Literally like a quarter cup or less. And my straw, let's have a taste. Much better. And I like my smoothies to be really sweet. Much better. This would even taste good with everything I just put in here, plus cherries and or mixed berries. So definitely give these a try. They're healthy, they're really good. You're gonna love them and you're gonna feel great. This gives you energy. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you try any of these smoothies. Leave us a comment and let me know if you got creative and did your own thing. What's the recipe? Leave that in the comment section too so we can all read it and get some more recipes. My favorite would have to be the one with the avocado and just the berries. Definitely my favorite. So I'll see you in the next video and enjoy.